the past classes, first we studied about structural isomerism. So in structural isomerism, what did we study? We studied chain isomerism, we studied position isomerism, and we studied functional isomerism. Then we started with stereoisomerism. In stereoisomerism, we first studied diastereomers. What are diastereomers? Which are not related by reflection. So in this, we studied about cis-trans isomerism, and then we studied about conformational isomerism. What is conformational isomerism? In which they are related by rotation of the molecules, and they can rapidly interconvert at room temperature. So we studied about CC bond rotation. First we studied in alkanes, then we studied conformation in cycloalkanes. We also saw the perspective projection. Sawhorse projection and Newman projection. And in cis-trans isomerism, we also learned the EZ nomenclature. We saw cis-trans isomerism in alkenes and cycloalkenes. Now, what we are going to study, that is enantiomers. These are the isomers that are related by property of reflection. What do we mean by that? That means that they form non-superimposable mirror images. So today we'll start with enantiomers. Now what do we mean by non-imposable mirror images? Like if we see our hands, they are mirror images of each other, but if you try to superimpose, then you see that they cannot superimpose on each other. Our thumbs are outside. So these kind of molecules, if we see, then we call them enantiomers. So what? They are related by property of reflection. What do we mean by that? We mean that they are mirror images of each other. But at the same time, they are non-superimposable. Now, what do we mean by non-superimposable? That you cannot superimpose, you cannot put them on one another. They will not cover each other completely. So, we have non-superimposable mirror image of each other, which are called enantiomers. Now, let's start with some examples. For example, if I have this carbon. Now we know carbon is attached to 4 molecules. So suppose if I have 4 different molecules attached to carbon. In that case, this carbon is known as chirality center. The word is pronounced as chirality. So this molecule is called chirality center. This term has been now accepted by IUPAC. There are other names which we call it. We also call it chiral center, stereogenic center, stereo center, so when a carbon is attached to 4 different groups, it not necessarily only halogens, it could be hydrogen, it could be, suppose it is hydrogen, methyl, ethyl, propyl, that kind of, all 4 groups are different, then it is called a chirality center. Now how do we look for a chirality center? Suppose if we have say 4 octanol, this kind of a structure. Now I see on this carbon, this is a propyl group and this is a butyl. So both the groups are different. This is an hydroxide and that is a hydrogen. So this is a chiral center and we mark all the chiral centers by an asterisk. Now if I see some other carbon, if I see say this carbon, then this has 2 protons. Though this is only methyl group and this is a hexyl group, but it has 2 protons, 2 hydrogen atoms. So this is not a chiral molecule. Okay. So what do we have? This as chiral molecule. Let's take a few more examples. Now suppose I have very simple molecule 2-bromobutane. अब in this case जो ये molecule है और जो ये molecule है, these both groups are different. So again this carbon is now chirality center. If I have this kind of molecule, in this case we see that this and this group is same. So this is not a chiral center. But now if I put bromine here, now this group and this group, this and this, it has 4 different groups. So this becomes a chiral center. And now अब ये and ये group भी अलग हो गए, so this also becomes a chiral center. Now this molecule has 2 chiral centers. Now let's see what happens when we have a chiral center in a molecule. How does it change the molecule, or how does it forms the isomers of the molecules? Suppose I have this, and again now if I have this molecule and I take the mirror image of this molecule. What will the mirror image? Now we see that these two molecules are mirror images of each other, but you cannot superimpose them. They are not superimposable, but there are mirror images of each other. So, these two are called enantiomers. If you remember this projection, this means that this OH is coming out of the plane, this bromine is going in the plane, and these two are on the plane of the board or on the plane of the paper. So we see that this molecule is mirror image of this molecule, but if you try to superimpose on each other, you will see that this Cl and this Cl, they will come out rather than coming onto each other. But now if we have, say, two groups same, so now you can see that there is a way in which if I put them on each other, they will superimpose themselves. They will superimpose on each other. So in that case, this carbon is no longer a chiral carbon and they no longer are enantiomers. So the first basic criteria that we need to get two enantiomers is to have at least one chiral center. So in this case, if we had like Cl earlier, so now this becomes a chiral center and these two become non-superimposable mirror images and that leads to formation of two enantiomers. Now let's do some examples in which we try to find whether the molecule has a chiral center or not. Now I have drawn these four molecules. Let's see how many chiral centers do they have, or even if they have one or not. In the first molecule, we see the first carbon has 3 hydrogens, so it is not a chiral center. In the second carbon, we see again it has 2 hydrogens, so it is not a chiral center. The third carbon, it has 1 hydrogen and 1 chlorine, and the one it is methyl and one it is ethyl. So this is a chiral center. Next one has 3 hydrogens, so it is not a chiral center. So in this we have 1 chiral center. Again, in this one it has 3 hydrogen, 2 hydrogen. In this case, let's see. It has 1 hydrogen, it has 1 methyl, but it has another methyl. So this is not a chiral center. So this has no chiral center. The next one, only this one, it has 1 hydroxide, it has 1 methyl, but it has 2 hydrogens. Whereas in this case, it has 1 hydroxide, it has 1 hydrogen, and it has 2 methyls. So these both have no chiral centers. Now, if I have an ethyl group here, then this gets 1 chiral center. Now there are also possible that the molecule can have 2 or more chiral centers. Suppose I have this kind of a molecule. stays same. What's the name of this molecule? This is 2,3-dichlorobutane. So in this case we see that both these carbons are chiral centers. So now what does a chiral center do? Let's see with one more example. Like we have, if I have dichlorobutane, sorry, if I have 2-chlorobutane. Now if I try to do the perspective projection of this molecule, I'll have one hydrogen, one chlorine, one ethyl, and one methyl. Now, if I try to draw its mirror projection, one chlorine, ethyl, hydrogen. Again, now first fully convince yourself that in 3-dimensional, if we see that this chlorine is coming out, this hydrogen is going in, and there is a methyl on the top. So it has this kind of a structure. If we see that there is one methyl on the top, there is one hydrogen, sorry, this is one chlorine coming out, ethyl group on the plane of the paper, and this is the hydrogen that is going back. And if I have another one like this, so first convince yourself how are they mirror images. If you see now, because of these two, it forms mirror images, so that they are formed non-superimposable mirror images. If you try to impose on themselves, you will find that they will not have same groups superimposing themselves. So they form non-superimposable mirror images, and because of that, they form enantiomers. So this part should be very clear to you before we move forward. That how they form, why 4 different groups are required, why this carbon center has to be chiral to form non-superimposable mirror images. Because as I showed earlier, that if we have 2 groups same, suppose now in this case if I have ethyl here also, that is 3-chloropentane, then we can have, these molecules can superimpose on themselves because they have one plane on which they can be aligned, so that they have superimposed each other. So in this case, they do not form enantiomers. So in such cases, the molecules are called achiral. Like in this, these molecules are chiral. So in that, they are called achiral. We see many chiral and we see many achiral objects in daily life also. Like the best example for chirality is our hands. We have non-superimposable mirror images of each other. But at the same time, for chirality, like this duster, if we see, then this has this plane on which both of the sides are different. This plane is called the plane of symmetry. Like in this molecule, there is no plane of symmetry. But if I replace this with ethyl, then this plane makes them symmetric. With this plane, they gain their symmetry. So like this duster is achiral because it has a plane. This board is achiral because again it has planes, so it is very symmetrical. But these molecules, our hands, our feet, they all are chiral in nature because they form non-superimposable mirror images. Even if we have, say, some cyclic molecules like this. This is what cyclobutane. Now we see this is totally a chiral molecule. There is no chiral carbon on it. But if I attach one methyl group here. Now if you see this carbon. Again this carbon has one methyl, one hydrogen. But the other two groups are same because this is also same and this is also same. Now if I attach one more methyl here, or if I attach one more methyl here. Now in this case, though the groups are different, this carbon, if we see, if we travel from here, we see a methyl first, but if we travel from here, we do not see any methyl first. Though the groups attached to this carbon are different, but this molecule has a plane of symmetry, which makes it achiral. You can see these methyl groups are coming out, so there is a plane of symmetry here, which makes the molecule achiral. But at the same time, if we see this has one methyl coming out and this has the methyl going in. So this molecule is chiral. Because now if I try to see that can this superimpose on each other, if I take one more, then I will see that this will not happen. Because this methyl is going down, this methyl is going up. So now if I try to have a mirror image of this molecule, this methyl is going to go down and this methyl will come up. We see that we are not able to superimpose this on this one. Okay, so this is a chiral molecule, whereas if I have a mirror image of this molecule, we see that we are able to superimpose this on this. So that means this is achiral. So what do we see? That even if a molecule has a chiral center, in this case, since the molecule has two chiral centers, but it has a plane of symmetry. So because of the presence of this plane of symmetry, this becomes achiral. Now let's take one more example. Now if you see this molecule, Now again we see that both these methyl groups are coming out of the plane. So that means this has this plane of symmetry. Now if you see with this plane, both they have plane of symmetry. So if we have its mirror image, if we have its mirror image, then we'll see that again it can superimpose on each other because both these two methyl groups are coming out. So if I have its mirror image, then that is again going to be the same, and we see I can superimpose this on this one. Now let's see this next example. So this we find is achiral. Now we see this one. In this, we have, this is going up, this is going down, and we have a chlorine which is coming up. So we see any mirror image we form, it will not superimpose on this one. Because firstly, these methyl groups are different, so we don't see any plane here. And secondly, we have a chlorine group that comes out of the plane. So this molecule is chiral. If we see this one, though these molecules are coming out, but we see one of them is methyl, one of them is chlorine. So the mirror image that we form cannot superimpose on this because the groups are different. One of them is methyl, the other one is chlorine. So this is also chiral. The last example. In this we see that methyls are coming out, which would have given a plane, mirror plane, but we see that we have this chlorine. So because of the presence of this chlorine, we could have thought that since these two are coming out, but we have this chlorine, but now if we see the chirality of this carbon, the chlorine carbon, let's see. Now what? First we have a chlorine group, we have a hydrogen group, but the hydrogen group would be like this. But if I see the other molecules around it, if we travel from here, we see one methyl coming out and then one methyl coming out here. If we travel from here, we see one methyl coming out and then we see one methyl coming out. So for this carbon, both of the groups that are coming, both of these groups are same. So this carbon is not a chiral center. I'll repeat this example. In this case we see that the two methyls are coming out. But then we see that there is one carbon which has a chlorine. So let's see that whether this carbon is chiral or not. So for what is the main condition for chirality? That all the four groups should be different. So we see that first group is chlorine, second group is hydrogen. Now third group is a part of the ring. So we see that if we travel, we have one methyl and three methyl. And if we travel from here, we see we have one methyl and three methyl, and both the methyls are coming out. So this is not a chiral center. And now if I have a plane which is running through like this, then we see this molecule is achiral. because both these methyls are coming out, and we can have a plane in such a way that these and these can impose on each other. So this is not a chiral carbon. Now, what did we learn? First, what are enantiomers? They are non-superimposable mirror images. And what is the first basic criteria to have enantiomers? That we should have chiral carbon. Then, if we have one chiral carbon, that means all the 4 groups attached to that carbon are different. Then, and if we have more than one chiral carbon, then first thing we look for is there any plane of symmetry. So if there is plane of symmetry, then the molecule becomes achiral. Now, then I told you that chirality is not necessary in molecules, it could be in anything. For example, we saw board is chiral, and now if we see, even how do we find that there is a plane or not? Let's start with some basic like alphabet. Suppose I have A, B, C, B. Now I see that this molecule has a plane of symmetry. So this molecule is achiral. This A is achiral. Now if I see B, again this B has a plane of symmetry. So this is achiral. Now with C again it has a plane of symmetry. So this is achiral. D is also achiral. Let's see if we have any chiral alphabet. E is also achiral. Yeah, now in F we see we don't have any plane in which the molecule is symmetrical. So this molecule F is chiral. This is just to quickly tell you what kind of planes can we have. We can have this sort of plane. We can also have a diagonal plane. So now we see that G, again H has 2. This is also a plane of symmetry for H. This is also a plane of symmetry for H. So in these cases, to find an achiral molecule, we look for a plane of symmetry, and for chirality, at least one carbon atom has to be chiral in nature. Now, how do we find out whether our molecule, how do we find out the molecule it has enantiomer or not? What did we do? We tried to draw its perspective formula, perspective projection. Suppose if I have this A, B, now this is my carbon. Suppose I have, say, hydrogen and boron, chlorine and iron. Now this is the perspective formula, and in perspective formula this molecule comes out, this molecule goes in, and these both are in the plane of paper. So this is easier to visualize in 3D, but it is difficult to work with on a plane of a paper. To see every time that this molecule is coming out, this molecule is going in, it is easier to visualize, but for fast computing or fast working with the molecule, there is a shortcut which is called Fischer projection, which has been made to visualize these molecules on 2D plane. So in that case, what do we do? Simple Fischer projection. We represent the chiral molecules we represent the chiral molecule by a cross. That means this is the chiral center, and the groups which are coming out and going in are represented on a horizontal line like this, and the group which are the plane of the paper are represented vertically like this. So this is Fischer projection. This is the perspective projection. This is the Fischer projection. In Fischer projection, this is my chiral center, and these are the groups. So it is easier to draw Fischer projection, and we will see by nomenclature and while working with this, it will be easier to work in Fischer projection than in the perspective projection. Now let's try and draw some Fischer projection of some molecules. Suppose I have, let's take the basic simple. We have 2-bromobutane. Now we try to draw its Fischer projection. So what is 2-bromobutane? CH3, CHBr, CH2, CH. Now this is the chiral center. So we take this. Now we can put, since there is no perspective formula for this, so we can put any group anywhere. H, Br. So this is the Fischer projection. Fischer projection for 2-bromobutane. Now if I have to draw the perspective formula from this, how will I draw it? I have carbon, I have methyl group, I have ethyl group, I have hydrogen, and I have bromine. Now we can take some more examples. Let's take some more examples. If I have 4-octanol, then what will I do? I take the carbon. Now what do I mean by 4-octanol? This. So I put H here, I put OH here, I put C3H7 here, and C4H9 here. Now if I have to draw the perspective formula, for this, I put the hydrogen here, ethanol here, C3H7 here, CH. And now this is the perspective formula for this. Now what I have done is, for my easy sake, the bond which is downward I have kept it down in the paper, the bond which is upward I have kept out the paper, and the horizontal one I have kept on the board of the paper. Now if I draw the mirror image of this, then how will I draw the mirror image? I put C3H7, C4H9, hydrogen. Now if I have to draw the mirror image in perspective formula, that's way easier, or in the Fischer projection, sorry. So now this is C4H9, this is C3H7, this is OH, this is H. What it will do, it can interchange any two groups. And you can convince yourself, if you do an exchange twice or if you do two exchanges, you will get the identical formula. Now suppose in the first case I did this exchange. Now I draw one more. First, this is first molecule. In my second molecule, what did I do is I exchanged these two. Now what I am going to do, I am going to exchange these two, hydroxide and hydrogen. So what will I get? C4H9, C3H7, hydroxide. Now what do we see? We see nothing but that this molecule is same as this molecule. Now how do you convince yourself that? See, now this is a mirror image from this, but here if you see, if I simply if you rotate this molecule, you will see this molecule. If I put hydroxide on the top, but just simply rotate it by 180 degree, then I see that this molecule is nothing but this molecule, which these two are same. But this molecule and this molecule, you can rotate it anyhow, you cannot get this molecule. Always, if you see on your right hand side, you see C9. Here, always on the right hand side, you will see C3H7, that is here. So what do I mean by that? These two are mirror images. These two are mirror images. But these two are identical. And now if I replace any other group, suppose in this case, instead of replacing this first, I replace this first. OH and H, if I replace, then what will I get? H, OH, C3H7, C4H. Now I see that these two are mirror images, these two are mirror images, but these two are identical. Now if I simply rotate this, I'll get this one. So what did we learn? That odd exchanges, we get mirror images, and even number of exchange, we get the same one, identical one. Now let's take one more example. And try to see when do we have a mirror image and when do we have identical one. I take the Fisher projection, hydrogen, chlorine, bromine, iodine. Now I take this. Now, this is the mirror plane. So what do I get? I get bromine, hydrogen, chlorine, iodine. Now, I take a mirror plane here. What do I get here? I get hydrogen, bromine, chlorine, iodine. This is my first molecule. This is my second molecule. This is my third molecule. Now I take a mirror image of this. What do I get? I get hydrogen, bromine, iodine. This is my fourth molecule. Okay. Now let's see what is the relation between these four molecules. Let's see. the first one and the second one. These both are non-superimposable mirror images. That means first and second, they are enantiomers. Now let's see. Now first and third. Again we see that these both are non-superimposable mirror images. You cannot superimpose them. There is no plane in which they are same. So these are, so second and third are also enantiomers. Now if I see second and, first and third. Now if I see second and third. Second and third, what do I see? If I rotate this molecule, by 180 degree, what do I get? I get hydrogen here. Rotate by 180 degree. First I rotate, then I rotate here. So my iodine gets here, my chlorine gets here, and my bromine gets here. So now what do we see? That this molecule and this molecule are identical. Even if I rotate this, I put hydrogen here, so my chlorine gets here, iodine gets here, and bromine. We see that these molecules are not same. I rotate it by 90 degree. I can rotate by any angle. I get H here, I here. You can rotate by any angle. You will not get this molecule. But if I rotate this molecule, then I get like this. So that means my second and third are identical molecules. Third, they are identical. And now I saw that when I rotated first molecule, I get the fourth molecule. So that means that first and fourth are identical molecules. First and fourth are these things are relatively easier to see in Fischer projection than the perspective projection. So for working with enantiomers, we are going to use Fischer projections. And so now if first and fourth are identical molecules, so we see that second and fourth and third and fourth are enantiomers. Even this, it is the mirror image of this, and here if you also see, it forms the mirror image of this as well. So what do we see? Second and fourth, third and fourth, they form enantiomers. So what did we learn? That if we have odd exchange, that means अगर हम एक बार चेंज करते हैं या 3 बार चेंज करते हैं, जैसे हमने यहाँ पहले एक चेंज किया, फिर दोबारा एक चेंज किया, तो when we have odd exchange, then we get identical molecules. हम लोगों को same molecule दोबारा मिल जाता है. But if we have even exchange, if we have even exchange, then we get the same molecule. हमने एक बार चेंज किया, हमने दोबारा चेंज किया. When we have two changes, we got the identical molecules. So when we have even exchange, we get identical molecules. और जब when we have odd exchange, that means हमने सिर्फ एक ही बार चेंज किया था. When we have odd exchange, then we get enantiomers. Keep this in mind. When we have an odd exchange, we get enantiomers, we get non-superimposable mirror images. But when we have even exchange, 2 bar, 4 bar, 6 bar, so we get identical molecules. Now when we are talking about this molecule, like we are talking about 2-bromobutane, और हमने इनके enantiomers की बात करी, like we had H, Br, methyl group and methyl. Now this is 2-bromobutane, and again I talk about mirror image. So how do we say that which of the molecule are we talking about? Are we talking about this molecule or are we talking about this molecule? So for that case, now we have a nomenclature for stereoisomers. We are going to specify the configuration of the stereoisomer. So for that, now we are going to start with naming the enantiomers. For naming the enantiomers, we have RS nomenclature. RS nomenclature. So now we are going to see which of the molecule is R, which of the molecule is S. So R has come from the word rectus, which means to your right, and S comes from the word sinister, or which means anti-clockwise. To your right means clockwise, sinister means anti-clockwise. So now we are going to see how do we define that this chiral center or this chiral center has a clockwise configuration or an anti-clockwise configuration, or it is an R configuration or it is an S configuration. We are going to follow the rules for giving the priority to the groups and finding out the configuration were given by Khan, Ingold and Prelog. So they are also called CIP rules for priority. These rules we also came familiar when we studied about EZ configuration. So there also we had priority of the groups. The same priority is here in the CIP rules. So what were the rules that we had learned? First, we give importance to the atomic number of the first molecule attached to the carbon. अब इसमें देखेंगे जो हमारा पहला कार्बन है उससे जो एसोसिएटेड चारों मॉलिक्यूल्स हैं उनकी we prioritize the molecules based on atomic number. So we see first is bromine and we see the hydrogen is fourth. Now we see both of them are carbon atoms. So what was the next rule? if first molecule is same, see the next one. See the next one. So now in this case, we see that both the first molecule is a carbon atom. So we see the next atom. Next atom here is hydrogen, and here is again carbon. So this gets the second priority and this gets the third. Now after we have prioritized the molecules, we see that the lowest priority molecule should be in this position. Like in this case it is already there. So when the fourth, then this molecule is in this fourth position, then what do? We see how does it move. Like this is 1, 2, 3. So it is like this. This is clockwise. So this is R configuration. Now in this case we see we have 1, 2, 3. So this moves in anti-clockwise direction. So this is S configuration. So do you understand? When we have clockwise movement, we get R configuration. When we have anti-clockwise rotation, we get S configuration. But that is only when it is in the fourth position. It is in the downward fourth position. Now why is this so? Let's try to see using the perspective formula. Now if I draw its perspective formula, I have this here. In the plane I have ethyl group, and hydrogen. 2, 3, 1. Now if I view, always keeping the lowest priority group in the back of the plane. So this has to be always in the back of the plane. And then I see the rotation. So how is it rotating? It is going from first, it is going in the clockwise direction. So that means this is R. Now if I take the perspective formula of that, R H CH3N. Now if I see this, it is moving in the anti-clockwise direction. Here it was the clockwise direction. Here it is the anti-clockwise direction. Always keeping this lowest priority group in the back. So when you have the plane of the paper, these are the three groups. The fourth one always has to be in the back. And then if it rotates in the clockwise direction, that is R. If it rotates in the anti-clockwise direction, that is S. So this is only when the hydrogen or the lowest priority group should be in the back of the plane. So now, what do? We take some more examples to see. First, let's just take example in which my lowest priority group is in the fourth position or is in the down position. Now let's take some more examples. Now my priority is 1, 2, 3. So how is it moving? It is moving in the clockwise direction. So it is R configuration. Now if I draw an S configuration of this molecule, how do I draw it? H. Now suppose I keep I here, I just do one exchange. So I have fluorine here, bromine here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now see, like in this case, we move from 1 to 3 without crossing 3. Like in this case, if I have to go to 1 to 3, I have two ways. Either I can go 1, 3, 2 or I can go 1, 4, 2. But now according to CIP rules, or when we set the priority, we can never cross third priority. We can cross the lowest priority. So we can go 1, 4, 2, 3, but we cannot cross the any other priority. So we cannot cross number 3. So we cannot go 1, 3, 2, 4. We can go 1, 4, 2, 3, but we cannot go 1, 3, 2, 4. You cannot cross third. हमें जाना 1 to 2 देखना है मोशन कैसा हो रहा है, but in that case we cannot cross. इस केस में तो if we are going 1, 2, 3, 4, it was easy. We can simply go 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't have to go. We cannot go 1, 4, 3, 2. So this simply becomes R. Now in this case, since we cannot go 1, 3, 2, 4, we have to go 1, 4, 2, 3, which is anti-clockwise direction. So this is S. So now this is R, this is S. That means R and S are enantiomers. When our molecule, one of the configurations is R, the other is S, they both are enantiomers. Alright? Now let's take a few more examples. This is all when H is in the lowest position. Sorry, I'll take a special projection. I have H here, I have CH2H5 here. Say I have chlorine, or I have say CH3 here, and I'll have no, I'll have OH here and I'll have CH3. Now if I see what will be the priority, this is 1, sorry, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. Now in this case, again, and this is 4. या तो हम जा सकते हैं 1, 3, 2, या फिर हम जा सकते हैं 1, 4, 2. We can either go 1, 3, 2, which will give me a clockwise direction. Clockwise. या फिर हम जा सकते हैं 1, 4, 2, which will give me an anti-clockwise direction. 1, 2, 4, 2, 2. So we see again, we cannot pass 3. So this becomes 1, 4, 2, and this becomes anti-clockwise. So this is again S configuration. Now if I see its perspective formula, perspective projection, this is what methane. This is hydrogen, this is ethyl, this is hydrogen. This is 1, 2, 3. Now if I see, I have I have to rotate like this. It has to go this. So now, if my hydrogen is backward and I only see these three groups. So my rotation is what? Anti-clockwise. So this becomes S configuration. But this is only when hydrogen is in the fourth position. Now let's see what happens when hydrogen is not in the fourth position. So first, let's take the same molecule and now say hydrogen is here, methane is here. Now what would have been the configuration? 1, 2, 3 and what would have been the motion? It would have been again S. But now what do we see? Yeah. Now if I rotate this molecule and bring H down, rotate, I'm not doing any other motion, I'm just rotating this molecule by 90 degrees. So what do I find? H is down, OH is up, I find CH3 here, C2H5. What do I see? These two molecules are mirror images of each other. Oh. No, wait. Oh, I'm not drawn the same. But if we see that these two, I've drawn something. Yeah. Now this is S configuration. This is an S configuration in which if we see the difference from here, these are not identical molecules because anyway I rotated, I cannot get the same molecule. So that means this is not S configuration, this is an enantiomer of this, it is an R configuration. Because by any rotation, I cannot get this molecule, but if I do an exchange, then I will get this molecule. If I do an exchange in this, then I will get this molecule. Let's see. Now if I exchange these two, so I will get back this molecule, and we had learned that when we have odd exchange, we get enantiomers, and when we get even exchange, we get identical numbers. So I repeat, what did we do in this? We had a molecule जिसमें जो ये H था ये fourth priority पे था. Then we saw that this is S configuration. Now I have another form of this molecule जिसमें जो ये fourth priority molecule is not in the downward position. So what did we do? अगर हम generally करते तो we saw that it has S configuration, but we see that these two molecules are not identical because any amount of rotation I give, I do not get this molecule back. So we see that these two molecules are enantiomer molecules. So if this was S, this will be R. And now I know कि अगर मैं इसमें एक चेंज करूंगी तो मुझे इसका enantiomer मिलना चाहिए. इसका enantiomer ये है, तो I should get back this. Now if I do one exchange, that is this, I get back this configuration. So that means that this molecule is of R configuration and this molecule is of S configuration. Now let's see, without drawing its enantiomer, how can we directly tell whether it is R or S? In case my hydrogen is not in the fourth priority. Keep this in mind. If we have odd exchange, we get enantiomers. If we have even exchange, we get identical molecules. Okay. Now let's see. Let's take another example. Suppose I have hydrogen here. I keep my ethyl, bromine, fluorine. Now in this case, what do we see? This is 1 priority, this is 2 priority, and this is 3 priority. Now, if I see simply, it is anti-clockwise direction. So, because it is not in the 4th position, so this will be R configuration. Whatever configuration we see when hydrogen is not in the 4th position, we have its inverted configuration. मतलब अगर हमें ऐसे रोटेट करने में एंटी क्लॉकवाइज मिल रहा है तो हम इसकी कॉन्फ़िगरेशन क्लॉकवाइज लिखेंगे. ऐसा हम क्यों करेंगे? Because we know that when we do one exchange, this is clockwise. Now, if I draw its perspective projection first, so what do we see? That this is bromine, then this is ethyl, this is hydrogen, yeah, and this is fluorine. Now, if I do one rotation, now if I do its rotation, what will I get? I will get bromine here, I will get hydrogen here, where was I? I will get my ethyl group here, and I will get chlorine here. So now, if I see, this is 1, 2, 3. Now we see this is the same molecule. I've just, now this is bromine. Now this is 1, 2, 3. This was anti-clockwise. Here also it is anti-clockwise because I just rotated the molecule. But to do an exchange, what will we do? To do an exchange, we will exchange this molecule and we will get bromine, chlorine, and we will get O. Yeah, we will do an exchange. So what will we get? This is chlorine here, hydrogen. Now in this case, our priority is again 1, 2, 3. So what do we see? This was this. This is again this. But this is simply should be different. But this is again this is S configuration. So we see that this molecule is in the inversion of this, so that will be R configuration. Because these two molecules are enantiomers. So we get this as an R configuration. I'll take one more example and show you with the perspective formula clearly. Suppose I have hydrogen, I have bromine, I have methyl here, and I have methyl bromine, and I have, say, my methyl group here. Now we see again, this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. Its perspective projection would be ethyl, methyl, bromine, and hydrogen. Now if I see, rotation is like this. This is 1, 2, 3, which is going in the anti-clockwise direction. Here also if I see, it is going in the anti-clockwise direction. So this should have been an S configuration, but since hydrogen not here, this is R configuration. Now how do we see that? Now if we change this perspective formula to bring hydrogen to the, if we rotate this formula to get hydrogen in the back position. So if I have hydrogen here, so now I will have my bromine will move here, my ethyl will move here, and this will be my 1, 2. Now we see it rotates in R configuration. So that means that this molecule is in R configuration. So if I have, so that means that this molecule is in R configuration. So what do we do? Whenever we have a Fischer projection in which my molecule is not in the fourth position, whatever configuration we get, we invert it. Now let's do a few more examples to find whether a molecule is in R configuration or in S configuration. Let's take some examples. Now suppose I have this. This is OH, CH, CH2, CH3, and that is CH3 and H. Now what do we see? We see 1, 2, 3. So this should have been, it rotates in clockwise, it should have been R, but we see hydrogen here, so this is S. Yeah, so this is an S molecule. Now let's take a few more examples. First let's take this example. This is, I'm going to draw perspective formula if it does not have any hydrogen. So what do we do in that case? Twice. This is CH2, CH3, CH2Br, and we have, and we have CH2. So in this case, what do? We draw the perspective formula. First, let's see the lowest priority group. Either we can do it directly here or we can draw its Fischer projection. Let's do both ways. First we see that the back group is not my lowest priority group. Now how do I give the priorities? Now first is all carbon. So see the second atom. Second atom here is bromine. So this is 1. Here it is hydrogen. And both of them are carbon. So this is 4th. Now in these two we see it has 2 carbons. And it has 1 carbon. Then it is attached to hydrogen. So this is second. And this is third. Now let's see. This is how is it rotating. It is rotating in the clockwise direction. But my lowest priority group is not. So this will be S configuration. Now let's draw a special projection. How will C2H5 there, CH2Br here. This is 1, this is 3. We have R. Now this is CH3 and this is CH. CH3. Now I see this is 1, 2, 3. This is, oh sorry, yeah. This is BC, this is in the R direction, but our fourth group is not in the downward position. So this is again S. So we can find the RS configuration either in the perspective projection or in the Fisher projection. In Fisher projection, it is much easier because we can simply see that if this is not in the fourth position, one more example. Let's start with the lactic. Let's take an example of lactic acid. This is OH. This is H. This is CH3. This is OH. And this is lactic acid. Now let's see what will be the priority. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3. Do you understand the priority now very easily? Based on Kahn Ingold pre-log rules, that this is 1. Now in these two first, so we see hydrogen. So this is priority 2, this is priority 3. Now again, this rotates in the clockwise direction, but my hydrogen is here, so this becomes R. Oh, sorry. This was R, so this becomes S. This is my chiral center. Now, how do I know this? Because if I make an exchange, so what will I get? This is OH, this is C-double bond OH, this is CH3, this is H. I have done one exchange. Now what do I see? I see that this is R to that, so this is S. I repeat this for the last time. Now listen to it carefully. Now this is the molecule. When H is not in the fourth position, we see that it is rotating clockwise, so it will be the opposite of it. So it is S configuration. And ऐसा क्यों है? क्योंकि if I do one exchange, that is an odd exchange, I get enantiomer and I get this enantiomer. In this case, I see this is 1, 2, 3. So this is already of R configuration. Now if these two are enantiomers, so this has to be of S configuration. Alright. So non-superimposable are called enantiomers, and if for a molecule to be enantiomer, The first basic condition is that it should have a chiral center, chirality center. We represent the chirality center by an asterisk. Then a molecule can have more than one chiral center, but in that case, if the molecule has a plane of symmetry, like this, then the molecule becomes achiral. Otherwise, if the molecule has no plane of symmetry, like this, the molecule is chiral. Then the molecule is chiral because now it has no plane of symmetry. And if the molecule has only one chiral center, if the molecule has only one chiral center, like if I have this kind of a molecule, then this is hydrogen, then the molecule is chiral because it only has one chiral center. We can represent the chiral molecule in form of perspective projection or its 2D version, that is the Fischer projection. In Fischer projection, it is easier to analyze and manipulate the molecule. Then what we see? Then we saw that how do we name the molecules in Fischer projection as well as perspective projection. So we saw the RS nomenclature. R means the clockwise, that is the vectors, and S means sinister, that is in the anti-clockwise direction. Then we saw how do we name a molecule R or S, and now we are going to continue with few more examples. So in this case we saw if the lowest priority group, which might be hydrogen, which might be anything else, is in the fourth position, downward position, then whatever configuration we have, that is the configuration of the molecule. But in case it is not in the fourth position, then the configuration of molecule is the opposite of what we get by CIP rules. That what are the CIP rules? The preference is given when the preference is given to the highest atomic number molecule. If the molecule is same, then we go to the next molecule. And in case the difference is only of the isotope, then we give the preference to the higher atomic mass. So now, next class, now in the enantiomer, in the next class, we are going to practice finding some more chiral centers, and we'll unite RS configuration to some more molecules, and then we'll move ahead. So, to sum up, to see the RS nomenclature, always keep in mind the position of the lowest priority molecule, and then अगर तो वो clockwise घूम रहा है, अगर तो lowest priority molecule is in the fourth position, then if 1, 2, 3 is clockwise, then it is R. If 1, 2, 3 is anti-clockwise, then it is S. But if the lowest priority molecule is not in the fourth position, is not in the downward position, then if it is rotating clockwise, then we give it S. If it is rotating anti-clockwise, then we give it R. And why is this? Because we saw if we do one exchange to get an enantiomer, we see that its configuration is the inversion of this. तो जब हमने इसमें एक चेंज किया, हम हाइड्रोजन को फोर्थ पोजीशन में लाए, तो हमने देखा कि इसकी कॉन्फ़िगरेशन R थी, तो दैट मीन्स कि इस मॉलिक्यूल की कॉन्फ़िगरेशन ऑटोमेटिकली उसके एनांशियोमर होने की वजह से S हो जाएगी. एंड अगर मैं इसमें अब एक और चेंज करती हूँ, सपोज आई इन्वर्ट दीज टू, then what happens? I have H here, I put OH here. अब मुझे पता है कि दो एक्सचेंज करे हैं मैंने, तो I should get identical molecule. Now let's see. This is 1, 2, 3. I rotate it like this, and I get S configuration. So that means that these two are identical. Both are of S configuration. These two are enantiomers and these two are enantiomers. We'll continue with this. Thank you.